Hey there, David Gordon from TheaterMania here. It is October 19th. I am here with the wonderful, the lovely Noma Dumezweni. You know her from Harry Potter and the Cursed Child on Broadway and the West End. And now starting October 25th, you're one of the stars of The Undoing on HBO opposite Nicole Kidman, Hugh Grant. What a crew.
I know. I'm like, what? I'm in that show. I'm still doing I'm in that show. But because of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, the West End Broadway, that's why I got the opportunity to be in this show. I'm still blown over.
Is it really? Is that so?
Well, I was literally talking to somebody else. Look, I've said to you, David, I'm half kind of ready with makeup because I'm in the middle of doing something else. But I was like talking to the lady who I'm working with today, and I said, actually, I'm here right at this moment, and literally with you as well, because of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. That changed my life in how people saw my work, and I've been always a jobbing actor. But here I am now because that expanded another way of seeing my work with that extraordinary production. Then being on Broadway, and then I get to go a chance to audition in New York for The Undoing, and then I get it. I'm still in awe.
I know.
Yeah, amazing.
You had like the Olivier before Harry Potter and all
that. Yeah, whatever. It's still every time is a new time. I mean, I'm so grateful for those. And I say, let's say the Olivier before Harry Potter one was 10 years, just over 10 years before. And that felt like, oh, well, that was a moment. Here we go. Right. Life moves on. Being an actor again. Let's keep going. Yeah.
When did you audition for this? So you were doing Harry Potter here in New York. Well,
I was. It was actually during the last month of doing Harry Potter. So we finished 2019, March the 17th, the first company.
Right.
And I remember that 2 weeks before we finished that, I knew that I'd got the gig, which was extraordinary. So I'd auditioned for that previous 2 weeks, and then I was going to be starting. We finished on the 17th Sunday, and I was going to be starting on the 22nd of March. The Friday was my first day.
Oh wow! So you just flew right out?
Yeah, it was literally going boom. We're a Broadway book, but luckily it was still being filmed in New York.
Yeah,
the whole brilliant thing about The Undoing, because that's almost another character, is that it was being filmed in New York, and so I finished that gig, kids still at school, all is good. I don't have to discombobulate and pack up everything all at the same time, which a lot of my colleagues were doing, and heading back to London. Yeah.
What interested? Well, for the people that are watching this here right now, can you tell us a little bit? Hello. Can you tell us a little bit about The Undoing and who you play?
So I play a woman called Hayley Fitzgerald in The Undoing, and she is a defense lawyer. So I get, or as Noma the actor, got the joy of working with Hugh Grant and Nicole Kidman for the majority of my scenes, because Grace Fraser and Jonathan Fraser, the characters, call in my services via Grace's dad. Of course, let's say David as well. This was the moment I was like flipped out when I realized who the cast was.
Yeah.
Was that Mr. Donald Sutherland? Donald Sutherland was playing Grace Fraser's, Nicole Kidman's father. I was like, yes, please. So his character Franklin says you need to speak to Hayley. So you see me come a bit of the way through, and I'm there. It's a weird, because it's a thriller, it's a whodunit, it's a psychological thing going on as well. So I always feel that I've got to be very careful how I speak around it. I can talk to you and say, Hayley is fabulous. She wears great clothes. She's tough. She's brilliant at her job. She's very, very, very expensive. That's what I realized about her. She's very expensive, and I really enjoyed playing her.
What was it that interested you in the part when you first read it?
Well, first and foremost, I read the first episode, which Hayley doesn't appear in. And what interested me was David E. Kelly's writing. Now, we know David E. Kelly. When I realized that, oh my God, he's the man who wrote Ally McBeal, Boston Legal. There's so many other things that we crossed over in England and saw, and he's still being a brilliant writer. But that episode was like, I was going, what's going on? What's going on? Oh, I love that feeling when you just keep wanting to find out.
Right.
And then I got sent the sides for Hayley, which I didn't know which episode she was going to turn up in, but they just sent these sides. I went, I like her. There's just something, what one can't help as an actor. You go, well, okay, if I go for this is a black woman playing this part, because that's how I have to think in every situation, which is joyous. What do I bring in with my history and my experience?
Yeah.
And I just love that there was this woman who was obviously at the top of her game in a very well-to-do law practice. And she's meeting this world. And she kind of knows it already. She's not meeting it, she's met it before, but meeting Grace is our introduction to Haley. So that's how, because the story is ultimately about Grace's point of view and perspective.
Right.
And so for me reading, I just remember going, oh, I want to be in this. I would love to be in this. But you let these things go. You go and do your audition. You go and meet the people who are very lovely and let it go. And I was so shocked when I found out I had it. So playing Haley, she's tough. She's good. Yeah, I like her.
It's a good role for you. It's a fun role for you.
It's a fun role for me, and it's a different role as well, I think, for what people have seen. But it's not too far away from a almost Hermione-esque kind of, can we get this shit sorted out, please?
Yeah.
Yes.
Was it nice to you'd been in the wizarding world for so long at that point when you first was it like a complete 360? Did you have to like reset your brain or something?
Absolutely, because I've been doing theatre for 3 years on one show, basically. Right. That's extraordinary. If you told me at the beginning of the job that that's what I would be doing, I would have gone, no way, go away. I'm not saying yes to that. And we were especially the 7 of us who, the original 7 from London to New York. And that last month, it was intense because we all realized that we'd had this wonderful safety cushion of work for 3 years. But actually in that first you went, I'm done. I've done it for a year. That's it. And then, oh, would you like to go to Broadway? Oh, no, of course I've got to go to Broadway.
Right.
I've got to have that.
You're not going to say no to Broadway.
You can't say no to Broadway. Oh, my God. So let's talk about Broadway in a minute because I'm feeling for West End as well and all theatre around the world. But that last month, we were all got very aware that we had to go out to work again. It's like, oh, no, this is going now. This is not our world anymore. Other people are going to be stepping into these places. And so it was an extraordinary feeling having that sense of, here we go, we're going back out into the world. Was that the question you asked? I'm just trying to remember what the question was you asked.
Doesn't matter. It's a good conversation.
I love you for that.
Yeah, no, I was saying, like, was it nice to go, or like, was it weird for you to go from like 3 years of magic to this sort of thing?
Yes, it totally was, because also that 3 years of magic is standing on the stage, looking great, swishing a cloak, and moving a wand, projecting to the back stalls, and then all of a sudden there is no audience, and it's just a camera in front of you, and the director looking from around there with the script supervisor. The people are moving around, they're doing their work, they don't care about you in the most healthy kind of way, and everything becomes really small. I remember Susanna being saying, we've got to take 3 years of theatre out of you now. I was like, oh, this is going to be hard. I think it took me about a week to course correct. Yeah. I went, okay, now I know what I'm doing. And it was actually also a very beautiful piece of advice from a friend who's a casting director, who's an American casting director, Alexa Fogel. You will know who that is if you Google. But she said to me, one thing you need to do was, I remember going, I'm having problems. I'm not quite getting what I'm supposed to be doing in this TV world. She went, oh, darling, you should have spoken to me before. She said, this is the best advice I can give you when it comes to TV and film. Speak to the distance of the person you're speaking to. Huh? Oh, okay. So if someone's right here, just going to speak really, really quietly because there's a mic.
Right.
One forgets that. I forgot there was a mic. So I remember apologizing to Danny, the sound guy on the Undo, and going, oh yeah, about that first week, Danny, I really apologize for being really loud in your ears.
Sorry for screaming.
Sorry for doing that to you. And he totally got it and totally laughed. And it was like, yes, it was a learning curve, but it was an absolute 360 learning curve.
What was it like to work with Nicole and Hugh? I hate asking that what was it like to work with question, but you know what, you do have to ask that question because they are, even in their lifetimes, iconic. Isn't that weird? Yeah.
I mean, even Donald Sutherland, they're iconic. And I remember joking to a friend and saying, and no diss to these car mates at all, and I'm bigging them up in different ways, but I'm a really good, comfortable Volvo. So that's the analogy. I'm a really lovely, solid, do the thing, and that's the theatre background. And then I get to be in a room with these two Ferraris. Amazing. Grant and Kidman. And then I was saying to my friend, and then there's also, of course, Donald Sutherland, and he went, oh, the Maserati.
Yeah.
That's basically what it feels like. You're kind of
Yeah.
going into these experiences. And what I will always be grateful for, and it's actually every job, and they remind me of all the good people in every job I've done, wherever they get to, however they are seen in the world. They're good people. They're lovely people. They're kind people. They're about the work. They have a laugh. They question things. And they're serious,
Yeah.
but they also have a laugh because it's about the work. And that for me was like, oh, thank God. And there was no divishness at all. Because Cameron, let's be honest, you kind of go, Nicole Kidman, Hugh Grant, film stars
Right.
all this time. Yes, they've done a bit of theatre here in a long time, but actually, people who love their work. Donald Sutherland was making people laugh. The supporting actors laugh wherever it could before we came. All right, we're rolling out Donald. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It makes me happy to know that he's really cool.
He's really cool. They are really cool people. And so
Yeah.
that for me was that's the thing I'm most grateful for, apart from the actual gig itself. And you don't have to be a dick or a dick-ass. Do you know what I mean? You can
Yeah.
just get on and do your work, be respectful. You don't have to engage. You can, but it's always, as long as it always comes back to the work. That's what I saw of them. That's what I shared with them. And that's what I really appreciated.
Yeah. Was going back to Harry Potter, was that as a stage actor, was that like was that the longest run you've ever done?
The longest run that I have ever done. And I think that's because, and that's why I say it's changed my life in a sense, because it was the longest. So at the beginning in London, the gig is 15 months. So 10 weeks rehearsal, 5 weeks tag, and then a year doing it. Already, even just knowing that was like, oh, a year.
Yeah.
And the actor goes, right, 3 months. 3 months on tour, 3 months going to somewhere, Manchester, Newcastle, Edinburgh. Great, that's fine. We can do that. Or staying to London since I've had the child. We're going to stay in London. 3 months, 4 months, the National, whatever, at the Almeida. That's the number I am used to. A year. A year with one play.
Right.
Because my fear is getting bored out of my head. That is my biggest fear.
Yeah,
that's my biggest fear.
I feel like that's the same fear out of a lot of stage actors, and a lot of reasons why people leave after a year. Like, was Harry Potter like? Was it unboringable? Like, was it always new for you?
That's the realization. That was my realization, and it was that realization that, oh my goodness, I am so lucky. I am working with the actors that I'm working with.
Yeah.
Because, and I will always say to him, and he knows this, Paul Thornley, who played Ron, I promise you, Paul would never ever give the exact same intonation. Well, intonation, yes, maybe in terms of a line reading, but I know that when I stepped on stage and looked at him, there was a twinkle in his eye, and I was like, okay, where are we going today? What we're going to do? Because he was so alive. He was so alive in play. And that was my realization going, I think that made it easy for me to say, yes, I will go to Broadway with these 7 actors, because they just wanted to keep it alive. And that's all I want. You want to keep it alive. And when you've got people working with you who are up for it, we're good. We're good. We're golden. So that for me, and it never became boring. I absolutely know I was tired. We were tired. There were places we go, oh, here we go again. But literally that moment from the wings onto the stage and the lights and the sense of the story being told, we're good. Because I look at the other actor's eye and I go, oh yeah, we're playing. So it never became boring. It never became boring.
And then when you start to get bored, you realize you have to go and do part 2.
No, that's when I need a nap. I need a nap. I need a really big nap. Exactly. No, it was amazing. I was very lucky for that.
What are you hearing from your friends in back home in England about the theater situation?
It's tough.
Yeah.
The same way here. No one knows. I mean, the subsidization from the government in Britain is better than over here. Absolutely. Right. We understand that. So a lot of private donors used over in America more often. But there was a big thing recently where one of the ministers said or advised people in the creative arts to retrain what they were doing, which came out about 2 weeks ago. I mean, as somebody said, turn up your music, turn up your TV, turn all paintings in your wall around in a way, put all the books down. If the arts are not a viable business for anybody, yes, it's tough. Yes, it's not easy. Yes, we have to figure out who we are as we're doing it, because we are all creative beings, and it's not 9 to 5. And we choose it. We absolutely choose it. But the lack of support from government, for me, has been the saddest thing, because it's not easy anywhere. Please, God, the essential workers who have been the essential workers. Can we just say nurses, doctors, frontline workers, cleaners? We know know that, but then let's treat them as heroes. Let's give them the funds for them to be able to live. And I'm talking about Britain as well, going, they weren't promised, they weren't given what they were promised. I'm not sure enough about here, but it's a different way of living here. But can we acknowledge our humanity in these moments? We need to acknowledge our humanity. I get very emotional about that, because I feel as if I can't articulate it, but I feel so much about it.
Well, and you're right, you know, and I feel like most people don't have the words to sort of explain everything that's going on right now, or talk about everything that's going on.
And this is all new for all of us. This is all new for all of us. So let's have a bit of grace and kindness involved with it all.
Yeah.
Because no one knows what the hell's going on.
No. And I'm a strong proponent of kindness, because without that.
Yes. Well, where are we? What are we?
Right.
Who are we? I'm with you. I'm with you. And it's about humanity. And I forget. And this is why I love the job that I do. This is why I love acting. This is why I love being in this business, because I get to meet and have gotten to meet every walk of life. I promise you, every walk of life. And I'm still surprised each week, each year, by the people I meet, by the humans that I meet. So lead with kindness always.
Noma, thank you for your time.
Oh, David, lovely to speak to you, and thank you.
I really appreciate it. The Undoing, it starts on next Sunday, the 25th at 9 o'clock. I'm so excited for everybody to see it. I'm so excited for you. I love seeing our theater people
doing stuff.
Doing
stuff. And I love being a theater person. Thank you so much, David.
My pleasure. Be well.
You too, love. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.